and praise. Look, I'm gonna get right to it. If you want to make more money through sales, this is a conversation you want to listen to. As always, make sure you put your questions and comments in the chat. But we gonna unpack one of the biggest reasons why people don't make more as much money as they should. And it's simply because you just don't convert better. You don't convert as good as you should in the realm of sales. And I'm gonna give you guys, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 key takeaways and pointers as to how you can increase your closing percentage through the sales process. And so, P, what's up, my guy? I gotta say, bro, I missed you while I was in the UAE for 2 weeks over in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And it's like a distant memory. This week been so crazy since I got back. But no, man, I'm happy. I'm excited to be back. You know, these conversations always feed me as I'm feeding others. And so, who better to do it with than P, the one and only.
Yeah, man. Felt weird not having these calls. I was like, something's missing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm super excited, bro. I'm just grateful that you had a safe travels. I know you had a time. So yeah, man. I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited that we back. So
And
yeah.
just so y'all know how much P got y'all back, this man hit me. I think I was sitting on a balcony in Abu Dhabi having a cigar, and P was like, "So are we meeting this week?" I say, "Negro, did you hear what I just said?" You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting on the balcony in Abu Dhabi. No, we not meeting this week. What are we talking about? Crazy. So just so y'all know, P got y'all back. He tried to get me on here all the way from the UAE where I was 9 hours ahead. I was like 7 time zones ahead of where I normally live, and so that was crazy.
And then our BA posted a video. He was like, "I'm not even trying to make it deep. I'm just sweating." I was cracking
Bro, just in the desert, sweating. Bro, we got to stop taking social media so serious though. Like the stuff that we know is staged when people are trying to like record reflective thoughts or capture it. Like we know what it is, and I get it. It's a part that we
Yeah,
play in it. But at the same time, it's like, bro, let's be honest. I'm in the desert trying to shoot a video. It's hot and I'm sweating. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just keep it a buck.
right.
But yeah, man, shout out to everybody that's on here. Let us know in the chat if y'all can hear us okay. We want to make sure that the chat is working. Let us know in the chat if you can hear us okay. Forgive us. We were on here at 10 fighting for our life trying to get this tech to work. And so here we are.
Right.
Thank you guys for your patience and trickling in. And so um yeah, where you want to start with this sales conversation, P? Like what you thinking?
Um, we're gonna build up to it. I
Okay.
got just a few questions to start. That's gonna lay the foundation.
Yep.
That'll help us more with sales. In the
Okay.
end. So yeah, we're gonna start out with this. I was just thinking about really just reflecting over 2026, even though it just started. It's easy to move on autopilot, but just reflecting on 2026, making sure I didn't want to make it the same year as 2025 decision wise, right, in my day to day.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that in some areas of my life, majority of some areas of my life, that I would keep redeciding decisions that should already be made.
Mm.
So every day I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be this person today, and then the next day I'm saying it again, but it's like you should have already made that decision. Um, so the verse that has been on my heart like this whole month of February was that an unstable man, a double-minded man, is unstable in all his ways. So I just kind of
Mm-hmm.
wanted you to talk to us about that because I think that'll lay the foundation for us when we're talking about sales because you got to be that in order to sell it, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't be in sales and you're not what you're selling. So I just kind of wanted you to talk about that because one thing about you that I noticed, you're committed. It's not you're not waking up like I'm gonna be this Brian today. You just show up. You're committed to it. So I kind of wanted you to talk about commitment before we dive into more of the sales process later on.
Yeah, this is a really good place to start because sales is a transference of belief. Sales is a transference of belief. Now, that don't mean that I'm manipulating you or convincing you to believe what I believe. I'm persuading you by helping to shift your perspective to see for you what I see for you, that this solution that I have fixes your problem. And that transference of what I believe to be true to help you see what is possible for you is where sales occurs. So going back to your point, if you're this is why the Bible says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. We got to be sure-footed, we got to be decisive, and we got to be convicted about the things that we do, because if I ain't convicted, you ain't going to be convicted. The buyer is already in a place of indecision because they're vulnerable, they got something they need to fix, and they looking for help. But that means that they also have a level of uncertainty as to, will this thing help you, and who it's from, is it credible? So then if I'm operating as a salesperson from a place of instability, then I'm not I'm not becoming the sure-footed foundation that the buyer needs to stand on to make their decision.
Mm, it's good.
So this is why, you know, being stable, solid, grounded, convicted about who you are, what you sell, and your belief that it will actually help the person that's sitting across from you is paramount if you ever want to have success in sales.
That's good.
Whereas
That's
most people in sales don't feel great about selling, indecisive about, you know, do they have the ability to afford what I'm selling them? So they're selling from their own pocket. They're selling from a place of their own insecurity of, I can't afford this. I don't know how they gonna afford it. Well, you ain't buying it. That's part of the problem. But it goes back to the instability of, if you're not sure of who you are and where you are, then you're gonna always second guess and question all of these things in these moments. When the only thing that you need to be convinced about is, does my solution truly fix and solve their problem? Regardless of cost. That's their problem to figure that out. I ain't never uncomfortable that you ain't got the money. You said you want to fix your problem. This is what it costs to fix it. If you ain't got the money, that's your problem, not my problem. Right? But few of us have that kind of posture in sales because we're dealing with our own insecurities and the stories that we're telling ourselves. Which is why scripture also says, take every thought captive. That's not good and above and holy and all those things, right? Because we'll start telling ourselves stories that's not only ruining us, but is ruining our ability to help the people sitting across from us.
It's good. That's good. Yeah, I feel like this was paramount, I believe, like for me as well, as I work in the environment of sales, and thank God that I'm actually like in the gym and working out. But working in the gym, people who are coming into the gym who don't believe in the gym, I'm like, I've seen proof, right? Like now I have to be that evidence for them, because now they'll be like, I don't know if I should join. Now it's an identity thing, because price was never the issue, right? We got three types of, it's in $10, $20, and $30. I know you got one of those three, right? So now they're like, oh, I need to think about it, X, Y, and Z. And I usually immediately go into, I'm like, listen, you're making an identity shift right now. I'm like, so it's gonna be uncomfortable. And I'm brutally honest with them, because I'm like, I know when I started going to the gym, it was uncomfortable. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable positions every day. And I feel like this is paramount that we talk about the belief in yourself and actually being committed, because if I didn't go to the gym, I wouldn't be able to have confidence in talking about it. So it's
Yeah.
showing me now that in my own business, in my own life, when I start selling, I have to be that. But I realize that a lot of people redecide every day. So then now when it comes to selling, they're like, I don't know if it's going to work. Like I'll hear people now, and it makes even more sense when people are like, oh, I want to start a business, but then they're so iffy about everything within the business. They're like, I don't know how to get this. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if that's going to work. And I wanted you to talk about the pros and cons of one, being committed, and then the dangers and the cons of being indecisive and always redeciding, and how it really makes you unstable in everywhere you go.
Yeah, I think this is why we should not sell things we don't believe in. It's a lot of different ways to make money. But selling stuff you don't believe in is setting you up for failure, in my opinion, long term. Even if you have short term success, long term, you're setting yourself up because it it disallows it from feeling organic to you. And it's always gonna feel like a performance just to get a payment.
Mm, that's
It's
good.
like the timeshare folks, right? 90+% of them. Their whole goal is, I'm gonna talk to 100 people today and try to close 10. but they're doing that most times not out of a place that they love the product, they love the commission that comes from it.
Mm.
And so as you sit across from them, you can tell that there's not true empathy. You could tell that as you explain how you didn't even know that this is going to be a part of your trip and it's nowhere near in the budget, and how you had to save for 2 years just to come on a vacation, that they don't care about none of that. Because even after you tell them all that, they're like, so what if we could do this though? And what if we could do that? And let me bring my manager in. And you're not listening. The foundation for any healthy sales environment is good listening. And the second one is true empathy. After I've heard you, then I need to discern what I'm really hearing. I need to discern whether or not it's really fear that's a blocker for you, or if it's truly not a good time in a bad season. And the only way I can truly discern that is if I have more empathy for you than I have interest about my commission. Our posture and philosophy is that I don't need nothing from nobody. That's true. I really believe that, bro. I don't care if we behind revenue wise and I got to make payroll. I still don't need a sale from nobody. I need to sell the right thing to the right person at the right time. So my urgency of whatever my personal or business need is not your emergency. You don't have to become my client because I need money at this particular time, because scripture says, seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added. So what is that telling me? That if I'm seeking to serve my assignment, God is saying he's sending my increase.
Right.
He says, seek to serve, seek the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added. So I should never be seeking things. I should only be seeking to serve. And if I do that, he gives me the increase. If I truly believe that and understand that in my heart, then I never need nothing from nobody. The best way to sell anybody anything is to not try to sell them anything. I'm never trying to sell anybody nothing. I'm always trying to help people see themselves in the right frame to make a decision, but I'm never trying to sell them nothing though.
Mm.
I'm just helping to declutter all the stinking thinking, the barriers and the roadblocks that I can tell is preventing them from getting to the next place in life. And as I remove those things and I present the opportunity that can help fix that problem, then I would have cleared the runway so they can see clearly. Whether or not they choose to drive down that road still is up to them. But at least I cleared the clutter from the road to where they can see clearly where the exit is, right? And then I put the offer in front of them. And so when you get to that level in that place in sales where it's no longer about performance for payment, but it's about presence for participation,
Mm.
everything changes. Everything changes. One of the things that I've always done, not always, but I say always because it's been that long now, probably since like 2021. I pray before every sales call that I have, right? Because I always want to make sure that I'm taking my flesh out of it. Whatever my preconceived notions are, whatever I read on their profile, like I'm taking all of that out because I've been on and sales calls and led a guy to Christ on that call. Had no idea that that's who I was getting on the call with and all of the things that he was going through. And we were going to go over Romans 10:9 and he was going to accept Christ that very day. Right. So that's why I got to, and I ain't sell him nothing. You know what I mean? I actually ended up sponsoring him to come into our believers in business community so he can stay tapped in. Um, there's been other times where somebody got the money to pay me, but I don't want the money. I don't think they're a good fit.
Mm.
You can't pay me to become a problem in my life. Right.
Right.
It's
Mm.
it's other times where I'm talking to somebody and they like, man, I was praying about this, right? So when you take the posture of I just become a vessel in the transaction, that if it's according to his will and his purpose for their life, our life, and we supposed to come together for this moment, then he will speak through me and he will say things to them that will be consistent with the things that they've been praying and seeking and all those things, right? And I'm not saying that every sales environment lends itself this that I'm talking about, right? If you in a high pressure sales environment and you on the floor, I mean, you can still be prayerful in general, right? Maybe it's not before every interaction and transaction. In my world, I have that liberty too because it's planned out, it's scheduled, and and I can take the time to do that, you know. And it ain't nothing crazy. It's just, Lord, I just pray that I decrease so that you can increase. I have no idea why you sent this person, but you do, and let your will be done. It's simple, right? Um, Even while I'm talking to people in sales environments, sometimes I may just be quietly praying internally, like I, I don't, I want you to tell me what to do, cause we can never, bro. I just don't take for granted. I know I'm smart, right? And I know I'm gifted. I know I'm talented, but I also know I ain't that smart, and I know I'm smart enough to get myself in trouble.
Mm, that's good.
Right now, I could argue myself all the way this way, and I'm smart enough to argue myself all the way that way. I could do that right now. That's
That's good.
dangerous. I'm consciously aware that that's dangerous. So because of that, a lot of the time when I feel myself getting too far one way or the other, I just pause and be like, "You tell me what to do. You tell me what to say." Because it's just, it's not self interest for me, bro. Like I'ma always make money. I've developed skills to do that. I know how to communicate effectively. I know how to sell. I know how to market, and I know how to execute, regardless of how I feel about it. I'm always gonna make money. I'm like, ho, put me anywhere on God green earth, I triple my worth. Like that's a real thing for me. I'm not, that ain't braggadocious. It's just a matter of fact. It's the reps that I put in. So then it becomes making moves out of inspiration instead of desperation.
Mm, that's good. That's good.
When you need something from somebody, that's a horrible sales environment to be in. And people can smell the commission on your breath. They can smell when it became less about them and more about you. Now, some people are just really good at bullying people into decisions, but you still end up with buyer's remorse. I'm not interested in that. I want grown people to make adult decisions. And my job as their leader is to help them navigate that process, answer any questions, field objections, fill the holes, correct thinking, correct behavior, correct belief system to put them in the best position to make an adult decision for their life. But
That's
never
good.
do I feel entitled that I'm supposed to collect a check from somebody. I don't.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
Bro, I mean, David and I run these challenges. We go in debt tens of thousands of dollars in marketing prior to the challenge. And we have no idea if anybody's going to buy, right? But here's what
Yeah.
we know to be true, that we're going to serve them people like nobody's business, that we're going to over deliver. I mean, that event in and of itself, you've been there several times. It could be a $5,000 event by itself, although it's 17 and $47, right? We're gonna not only deliver what we said we were, but we're gonna over deliver beyond that. Their minds are gonna be blown that week. And for those that really need to change their life, we have the mechanism to help them do it. And for those that want to do it, they're gonna do it. Like we just really believe that. So that take a lot of pressure off of feeling the need to perform. By the
That's
way,
good.
I don't know if the chat is working or not. If it is, can you see it on your side?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it working?
Yeah, but nobody said nothing yet.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But I hope that for those that's listening to this, like this is sales training. Yes, we can get into some frameworks and all of that, which we may, but this is the essence of sales. If you want to make more money in your business, it starts here. Don't matter how good your script is, it don't matter how good your process is. It's not. This is where it starts. It starts foundationally at the essence of who you are. Pete asked a question about a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. We talking about being grounded in who you are, being grounded in whose you are, so that you can effectively serve the people that's in front of you without having to feel the need of needing anything from them. Because here's the truth: just because you feel like you need to close the deal, don't mean you are. The opposite is more likely to be true. That the more you need it, the less it will happen.
Mm,
I mean,
that's
just
good.
think about it. When you in school, the girl that you chasing, what she do? She keep running until she see that you didn't quit fooling with her and you over here playing with the other one, and then she kind of like,
Right.
what do you think he doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's the same as true in sales. You keep chasing after them, they like clutching their pearls. Like, well, I don't,
Yeah.
this feel uncomfortable. But when you relaxed and you refined, and they could tell that you really, it's not that you don't care about them, but you can care less whether or not they buy something from you. Now they leaned in. They kind of like, why he ain't tripping? Because I'm not. I'm not tripping at the fact that I got a solution for your problem, and if you don't have the wherewithal and the encouragement to fix it for you, your family, your legacy, and all the things you said were important, that's a you problem. I feel bad for you, but I ain't. I don't tell grown people what to do. I just repeat back to them what they said they wanted to do. You say you want to get to 6 figure days. You say you want to get to 6 figure months. You say you want to leave your job in a year. You say that you want to leave something for you and your family. You say you want to reach 1,000 women. You say you want to reach 1 million people. You said you want to do those things. Okay. Well, what you currently have that you do every day ain't going to get you there. And this thing right here gets you there. Not just based on my opinion, but empirical data to show the results that we've gotten for others. So now it's no longer about what I think. It's about, did you really did or were you lying to me and you when you said that? Were you lying to me and you when you said that? And if the answer is no, then by default we know what the next move is. But if you said that because you thought it sounded good for an Instagram quote, this ain't going nowhere. And let's just stop wasting each other time. You can go tell this to somebody over a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Maybe they'll be entertained. I'm not. I'm really here trying to help the people that won't help.
Mm, that's good. That's good. And before we, yeah, you touched super lightly on it, and we're gonna get into frameworks. But two other things that I wanted to ask. The first one is there's this quote that I heavily rely on that you use, that you've said and embodied that I've been using at my job, where you like, if you're too leaned in, the other person's too leaned out.
For sure.
So I hang on to that like no tomorrow, because that's what's helping me sell as many memberships that I sell. So when people sit down, they're like, yeah, I'm interested in a gym membership. I'll immediately tell them, like, listen, you could buy a gym membership here or not. First thing, like, I'm leading with that. I'm not like, because they want us to be all, bubbly and whatnot. And hey, how are you? They'll sit down. I'm like, listen, we got three different type of memberships. I'm like, I personally don't care if you buy a membership here or not. Like, personally, this is a you decision. This isn't a me decision. I'm getting paid whether you buy from here or not. The next person's going to come in here and buy. And I'll let them know right off the bat, like, this is a you decision. This is what we have. You already know what a gym looks like. So you telling me you need to see the gym, I know you're lying. Unless you've never been to a gym in your life, that's a different story. I'll show you around. But majority of the people, when they come in, they're like, yeah, I just want to see your gym. I'm like, what do you need to see? What do you need to see? You need to see another treadmill? You need to see another pull-up bar? You need to see a bench press? Like, let's go look at it and show you what's there, and then come back and you can buy a membership. The amount of people that tell me I need to see what equipment you have, I'm like,
Hey,
B,
yeah, yeah, you've been around me for too long, bro. That's scary.
B. They're
I
like,
guarantee you. So when you say that you've been number one in sales at that gym, now I understand why. Because none of that is in the script that they give you.
at all, at all. at all. It's, yeah, you know, are you trying to burn cat? Are you trying to burn fat? Are you trying to gain muscle? Are you trying to be more mobile? I'm like, bro, what do you want? What do you want to see? You you want to see the bench press? You want to see the squat racks? You want to see the medicine balls? What do you want to see? The turf field? What do you need to see? They're like, yeah, I'm only here for cardio and weights. I'm like, cardio and weights is right over there, and we got everything you need. This gym is bigger than the one you've been at. I'm like, what else you need to see? They're like, you have a sauna? Yep, it's in the locker room. I'm like, what else you need to see? I'm like, we got massage chairs if you want an extra minute. Like, I'm just keeping it a buck because I'm not gonna be like, oh, please get a membership. I don't. When I first started, it was as if I was begging them to buy. Now I'm like, listen, we all grown. Like, you know what's in the gym. So if you need to see what's in the gym, then don't come to this one because we have everything that you had in the last gym and more. So when I say that, they're like, wow, like, so yeah, so what's the prices? I'm like, all right, now we can talk. Cause I'm like, you don't lie to me saying, oh, I need to see if I'm gonna enjoy my workout. The workout is based on you. What do you mean you want to see if you enjoy the workout? Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, there may be too many people or rush hour time. I'm like, listen, that's a you issue. You either get here at a later time or you get here at an earlier time. Point blank, period. So then they're like, all right, this is the membership I want. As long as it comes with X, Y, and Z, I'm like, we got that right here. And then we set up. So I just kind of wanted you to talk about, why you should be leaned out so they can lean in, because I've tried to lean in when I've been at the gym and ain't nobody buy a darn thing. They're like, oh yeah, I'll think about it. I'll come back tomorrow.
Because it's the law of polarity. Opposites attract, likes repel.
Mm.
So if we competing to see who can be most excited, we repelling. But if one person is leaned in and the other one's leaned, 50 Cent, I forget the name of the book, but it came out in 2020. I read it. It was a really good book, much better than what he do on social media every day. And it talked about this concept of the most powerful person at a table. Say I'm at a dinner table with 12 people. The most powerful person at that dinner table is not the loudest, gregarious one. It's the one that talks in such a way that all 12 people have to lean up to listen.
Mm.
It's the same concept. Most would think the loud, gregarious one that's directing traffic like that, they the most powerful person at the table, but it's not that. It's the person who speak just loud enough for everybody to hear, but that everybody got to lean in to listen to.
Mm.
And it's the same concept when you're in sales. It's not the charismatic, super gregarious, loud one that always got the right thing. He in performance mode all the time. Right. He Grant Cardone. He in performance mode all the time. That's gonna be mildly effective, but the most effective one, who has the level of presence and reverence that they want to lean in and listen to. And that's what's happening with you by virtue of you not chasing them with the same shtick that they go to any other gym, that they're going to entertain and answer all them questions. Who care if the weights is blue, red, yellow, and green, or if they all black and white like at this gym over here. It's the same weight. The kettlebell got plastic on the handle or it got no plastic. Like, what are we talking about?
Right.
Let's get down to the core and the essence of why you really here.
Yeah.
That's counterintuitive, but because we're human, we know when we on some nonsense. And the truth is, I'm insecure to even be coming to get the gym membership, and I'm playing into more insecurity by asking you a bunch of questions that really don't mean nothing.
Right.
So what they appreciate is that, although it may seem crass to maybe even those watching this, what the people are inherently saying is that I appreciate him cutting through the noise and helping me. Because what I'm saying on the peripheral is noise. It's nonsense.
Right.
I'm only asking questions because I don't know the right questions to ask. I'm a fish out of water in the gym right now. So I'm only asking questions because I don't know the right questions to ask. And to your point, it ain't about $10 a month, $20 a month, $30 a month. That's not even the question. The real question is, why are you here? Why are you here? To your point, are you trying to maintain where you at? Are you trying to cut? Are you trying to gain? Because there's only could be one of three of them categories. You either maintaining, you cutting, or you gaining. And we
Right.
got a myriad of equipment that answers each one of those problems.
Right.
The real question is, do you want to do the $10, the $20, $30 a month? Which one would you prefer? And here's the difference between each tier. If you take that 45-pound plate, you put it on a scale, it's gonna weigh 45 pounds.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now I got no problem with taking you on a tour after you done made your purchase. But do you know the amount of time that I would waste day in and day out if everybody that walked in here, I just ran and took them on tour? I wouldn't have enough time to help you right now because I'd be busy on tours.
Right.
When you go to the bank and you open up an account, after you sit in the office and open up the account, then do they show you around the bank and where the ATM is and to put in your code and all of that, not beforehand. Why? Because you're here to open up a bank account.
Right.
You here to open up a gym membership because you got a need that you got to facilitate and solve. I'm much better at facilitating, answering, and solving that problem for you sitting here than I am touring you around the gym.
Yes.
Touring you around the gym don't fix your problem. And in many cases, it may intimidate some of y'all if you're not accustomed to being in that kind of environment. Why? Because you're going to see people that already are ahead of you that do this every day.
Yes.
So then you may be discouraged at thinking, dang, I'll come back. So you're actually helping them in many cases because most people are coming in the gym are insecure when they're getting it. It's an intimidating environment for a lot of people. So you walk them upstairs and the guy up there power clean and they like, what's going on in here?
Yeah.
I was trying to do some cardio. So it's people know when you genuinely have their best interests at heart. Although, however, that may come off and it may be counterintuitive, people can sense that. And that's what they sense when you take that approach with them.
Yeah.
You taking them on the dog and pony show make you just like everybody else.
Right.
Me sitting across from a prospect and saying, yeah, so the nature of this call today is to see if you're a good fit to work with us. Everybody's tired of that posture, bro. Like the jig is up. You got to qualify to work with us. You got to, I mean, don't get me wrong. We don't just work with anybody, but just starting off the call with that posture of, yeah, so nature of the call today is to see if you're going to be a good fit for us. Like, good fit for us. When people tell me that, bro, it's like nails on the chalkboard. And I get it, but it's different ways to let your prospect know that your thing ain't for everybody than to posture with them as if we're sitting down today to find out if you're a good fit to work for us. That's weak language. That's people who are skilled by industry standard, but horrible by sustainability standards.
Mm-hmm.
Treat people like people because that's what they are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that you just hit that on the nose.
If y'all fingers are working, for those of you that are here, let us know in the chat. Like literally, because we've been talking for a while. I ain't seen nothing in the chat. And I'm not twisting y'all arm to be participatory, but I do want to know if the chat is working because we had some technical issues today. I don't even know if the chat is legitimately working.
And if you can hear us clearly, because we've been chatting for a little while, so
yeah,
if you can hear us clearly, let us know. And now, I feel like this will just be the perfect time to now. Could you give us a framework for sales? I feel like we laid the foundation. We talked about, because that's one thing that I feel like I need to do more of. And I was going to tell you this off camera, but I can tell you here now that to literally build the cake, you know what I'm saying? Like build on the cake in these coaching calls instead of just being like, all right, that's what we're going to talk about. Let's get right into it. It's like, no, let's start from tier 1, tier 2, and then go to tier 3. So now I feel like we're here at the tier 3. Could you like give us a framework now in sales that'll work? Because I know you got your brain thinks in frameworks. So I know you got like 100 in there just for sales alone. So
yeah, so I would say, I mean, I got a myriad of different ones, but I think one of the most universal, easy to understand, easy to execute is the PUDP framework. PUDP framework. And I got this just from watching arguably one of the most lucrative industries known to man, which is healthcare, right? And seeing how they function from a sales perspective. You go to the doctor, you're not thinking that they're selling you, but they are,
Mm.
right? They're whenever they thank you, Amir. Um, whenever they whenever they come to put the stethoscope on you and how you breathe in and out, right? Whenever
Yeah.
they shine the light in your throat, whenever they shine the light in your ear, right? Even though you ain't tell them none of that was your problem. They're, they're doing that because of code and billable hours and things that they can. So it's sales, when they come in, they cuff you and they get the like all the things that they're doing that's cursory and seem like normative is because they get to build an insurance company for doing it, whether you like it or not, just because you walked in there. So it's a sales environment. It's not talked about that way, but they trading time for dollars, just like everybody else. It's just that their time is more expensive. So anyway,
Yeah.
I got this revelation back in like June of last year of this framework, PUDP frame. I was in Philly and I was waiting on David to come pick me up, and we were about to go shoot some content, and we ended up shooting a podcast, and I worked this thing out in real time. So the P is for profile. None of you should be getting on calls with clients without having a profile. So you need to have some type of questionnaire, whether you create that on a Google Doc, whether you create that in type form, um, and you need to have some questions and specific questions. Their name, you want to get their social media so that should something happen and you need to try to contact them and you can't get a hold of them. Not to mention, you want to look at their profile, right? Their social media profile. You want to have, um, depending on what your offer is, you want to understand what their credit range is, right? 650 to 750 or above, 620 or below, right? You want to understand what their credit capacity is. You want to know what their annual income ranges are, because that also lets you know kind of where they potentially could fall at in terms of financial capability. And then you want to ask them some very specific questions, right? You want to understand what are their goals for the next 6 months, 12 months, right? What prompted them to even set up this call? What problem are they trying to solve? Um, have they ever done any kind of whatever you sell? Have you ever bought this type of product in the past? If so, what was your experience? So you want to collect the profile. Same is true when you go to the doctor. What's the first thing they do? Hand you that paperwork. Well, now it's an iPad, right? Fill out do you got hepatitis? Do right? They getting you to fill out a profile. What are your most recent symptoms? All the things. So you want to get a profile for anybody that you talk to, because that's data. You need to understand a true baseline of where they at before you get on the call with them. It it not only makes you more prepared, but it also gives the prospect a certain level of a deeper level of care and depth, right? Because it's not just random. It's like you asking specific questions to get a profile on them. No different than when you go to the doctor. Although it's cumbersome and it's aggravating sometimes to fill out the paperwork, you would feel weird if you went in there and they didn't have you fill it out. So it's one of them love hate things. Like I don't
Yeah.
really want to take the time to do it, but I'm grateful that I did, right?
Yeah.
So the P is for profile. And then the U is for understanding. Okay. And what that means is now that you got them on a call, you want to get understanding of the things that they put in the profile, but not from your perspective, but from their perspective. So a lot of time, let's just take a doctor, for example. They could come in, look at your chart, and immediately draw conclusions based on their previous experience, empirical data, their working knowledge. That they can already say, based on what you just put on this profile, you probably got one of two or three problems. But what do good doctors do? Instead of coming in and jump to conclusions, they sit down, they've already formulated what they think is the solution, but then they ask you from your perspective, what are you dealing with right now? How long has that been going on? What would you say that feels like? What do you remember what caused it? To ask you from your perspective how you would identify and explain what your problem is, not from their perspective. So same is true with your prospects. So tell me, you say that you've been pursuing this for about 2 years now. What do you think has been the barrier from keeping you from getting to the other side? Okay, and you say you were stuck at one point. Explain that. What do you think? How would you describe stuck? What does stuck mean to you? Now, because I've been around the block in the mulberry bush a couple times, I already know probably the answers to these questions, but I need them to hear themselves say it because it becomes more real to them as they articulate it, not when I articulate it. So I get their profile and then I ask them questions from their understanding, not my own. And then you get into the D. The D is the diagnosis. So now that I've got a profile on you, I've asked you questions to your level of understanding. Now I'm giving you what my diagnosis is. Based on everything you shared, it sounds like you got this problem, and this problem. Would that be accurate? Okay, great. So my question to you is that, do you already have the solutions to solve such problems? No. Okay. So based on what you said you would like to accomplish, and based on these set of roadblocks that you currently have, if you do nothing, what changes? I mean, it probably gets worse. Okay. Do you want to prevent it from getting worse? If you had a solution today that could fix that problem, would you do it? Yes. Okay, cool. Would it be okay if I show you what I think could fix that problem for you? Notice how I didn't just jump right into the solution. I asked them consequence questions. It's not enough that we stated the problem. It's only enough that we're willing to do something about it. So I'm asking them, okay, now that we've identified these are your issues, if you do nothing about them, what changes? If you could do something about it, would you? Yes. Okay, would it be okay if I showed you the solution that could fix that problem? Yes. So now we've identified and diagnosed the problem. They have acknowledged that they got to do something about it, and they have requested that I show them the solution to their problem. That's all happening in the diagnostic phase. And then what? And then the last one is, what did I say? PUDP. The last one is prescription. The prescription is your offer. Now I'm writing out the script. Now I'm writing out the script. That's the solution to your problem. Instead of taking that to Walgreens, take that to Wells Fargo and send me that money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can get this one. Don't take this one to Walgreens. Take this one to Wells Fargo and send that check. E. Richter is asking, is this for real estate? This is for sales. This is for, I don't care what industry you in. Like this, I'm telling you, I got the framework from just looking at a multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar industry called healthcare. This is what doctors do. They get a profile, they get understanding from your perspective, they diagnose your problem, and they give you a prescription. That's a sales framework. It's a universal framework. And many of y'all right now jumping on calls with people because you're just excited because they booked something on your calendar. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm just keeping it a buck. People be excited because somebody booked a call, and you get on there and you like, so how can I help you? And you're like, oh, I thought I saw you had said I could book a call. I just wanted to talk to you. Talk to you. So you gotta have a profile. You gotta collect information about this individual and look at it actually. When we have our challenges, when we have our 5 day challenges, we send out an application, and the people who want to hear our offer have to fill out this application. Well, guess what? We read all those applications because we want to understand who these people are. As much as they checking us out, we checking them out. When we make the offer, and we only taking 7 people, 8 people, 10 people, and there's hundreds of people there, we want to make sure that we feel aligned with the ones that said yes.
Yeah.
Right? That profile is important. It's a lot of data in that to let you know about who the person is that that you potentially about to do life with for whatever period of time, or sell a product to, or be a vendor of, or whatever the case may be.
That's good. That's good.
And most
PUDP.
people skip that step, P. Most people skip that step, the profile. That is the most important piece before you start doing the rest of it. And
And
then
do
the
you think?
second step,
Yeah.
which is the understanding, requires humility. Most people are so full of themselves and want to flex the fact that they the authority, that they don't take the time to listen to get understanding from that person perspective on what their problem is. They trying to tell them that they know what their problem is.
Mm,
Problem with that is, it's things are more validated when I say them than when you say them.
mm, that's
So if
good.
I'm telling you I know what your problem is, it may impress you, but it won't make an impression upon you though. When you say it, it makes an impression upon you. You reached out to me to come on this call. I have no. Well, we ain't talked about real estate for an hour. So, Richard, I don't really know what to tell you. But you could leave the call. You know what I mean? We're not talking about real estate. I ain't talked about real estate in almost 2 years. What you saying, P?
No, I was saying, it's just interesting that you say that because a lot of the times, when you just brought it up, um, how people are just excited to have clients out of desperation and not inspiration. So
Hmm.
I was like, I was gonna ask you, do you think that's why people just will go through with the profile, um, or skip the profile part because they're just doing it out of desperation and not inspiration?
They doing it out of lack of knowledge.
Mm,
I mean, people don't know this stuff,
right.
right? Like there's still a skill component to it. You got to have wherewithal, you got to have insight, you got to have skill, you got to have resources, and many people just don't have that. So that's why they don't do it.
Right.
Or they see that they do it in other settings, like this person make me fill out one, but because they don't know how to connect the dots to go from creating it to producing it to executing it, then they just don't do it. You know what I'm saying? And I
Right.
think intuitively, because so much is done in a vacuum today, where, like, as an example, you may ask another influencer that same question about the profile, and they'll give you a totally different take on it. Their take will be that they had a prospects fill it out just from a place of posture,
Right.
that they make them feel like they're applying. You see what I'm saying? So what
Yeah.
happens is people become more desensitized to the importance of things because people have taken the importance away from things. I genuinely want to see what the information is on there because you took the time to fill it out, and it's about you. And I'm supposed to be here to serve and help you. So how can I do that if I just make this a check in the box and I don't pay it no attention?
Yeah.
It's irresponsible. But because so many people get mishandled, then things get diluted. You know what I'm saying? Because people like, yeah, I filled it out for somebody else, and then they got on a call and asked me what my name was. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
let me know in the chat if I'm talking crazy. Like, I know this to be true. So what happens is people had that experience over here, and then when it comes time to do it with you, they kind of like, here we go again. You know, they'd be like, NA, NA, and they just be trying to get through it so they can submit
Yeah.
it. It's like, no, some people legitimately care about what you write.
It's good.
So that I'm saying that to say some people become jaded as to why that's why they don't do it for themselves because they feel like when they've used it, it hasn't been used the right way.
Yeah.
So they think it's a check in the box. They don't know that it's actually a viable instrument to be able to truly serve your client and protect your time. They keep you from. Here's the other part. If you read the thing and they're not a good fit, you can cancel that call. Reroute them to something else. Like you ain't got to just keep getting on a call with unqualified people. That's the other part of it. It should be a filtering process so that you ain't just jumping on a call with people that's not a good fit.
Yeah.
You can't always tell that from the form, but a lot of time you can if they just genuinely not a good fit.
It's good. That's all I got for you today, B. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we back. We
Yes,
back.
sir.
And hopefully next week there'll be no technical issues. We'll be here a little bit earlier. I know we was 10 minutes later than we anticipated, so we appreciate y'all patience.
Yes, sir.
And Amir said 100% accurate, you know? It's just what it is, bro. Look, one thing I am is a student of people and processes, whether I'm the provider of them or I'm the recipient of them. Very in tune with patterns and people and so what happens is the more aware you are and the more willing you are to talk about the obvious, the more successful you will be.
Mm.
The less aware you are, people won't feel like you relate to them. Everybody who watched this knows that I know what I'm talking about because I'm talking about the things that they experiencing in real time, not from a place of hypothesis and theory, because I lived it and I pay attention to what people go through as well as my own situation. When you become that to whoever you're supposed to serve, the people will be able to make no brainer decisions to buy from you as well.
It's good.
I could talk sales all day. Maybe we run this back next week or something. We could go into situational stuff. Y'all let
Yeah.
us know. Do y'all want us to double back next week with more sales? Let us know in the chat if y'all want us to double back next week with more sales because we could get situational role play. How do you handle this objection? Maybe y'all come with a list of objections that y'all want us to tackle. I'm with it. Whatever y'all want us to do. Other than talk about real estate. That ain't gonna work. But anything else, I'm open to it. Bless his heart. All right. If y'all watching this on the replay, drop it in the comment section or the chat. I don't know. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Leave it below. And we'll get to it next week. P, appreciate you, bro. Happy to be back.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
All right, y'all.